I never planned to humiliate anyone that night. Honestly, I didn't even plan to prove anything. I just wanted the truth, because when you've lived long enough being underestimated, dismissed, talked over, you develop a certain radar. And when that radar starts screaming, you either listen to it, or you regret it later. People see me now, and they see comfort, stability, maybe even success. What they don't see is the version of me that spent decades being overlooked, judged by my appearance, my age, my silence. They don't see the man who learned very early that the loudest people in the room aren't always the most dangerous ones. Sometimes it's the ones who smile too easily, who know exactly what to say, who look right through you as if you're just part of the furniture. That was how it started with him. Let's call him Ryan. Polished, confident, well-dressed, the kind of guy who knew how to shake hands just long enough to feel sincere. He was dating my granddaughter, Lily. She brought him around a few times, and every time he did all the right things. Complimented the house. Complimented my stories. Asked questions that sounded thoughtful. But something about the way he looked at Lily and the way he looked at me didn't sit right. You know that feeling when someone is listening but not really hearing you. That. I tried to ignore it at first. Told myself I was being paranoid, that I was just an old man struggling to let go. Lily was grown. Smart. Independent. Kind in a way that sometimes worried me, because kindness attracts two types of people. Those who appreciate it and those who exploit it. Ryan felt like the second type. The turning point came during a Sunday dinner. He joked about marrying well and laughed it off like it was nothing, like it was just guy humor. Lily laughed, too, a little awkwardly, but I noticed how quickly he checked her reaction, like he was calibrating how much he could get away with. That's when it hit me. He wasn't clumsy. He was careful. So I didn't confront him. People like that are excellent liars when they know they're being watched. Instead, I did something that sounds ridiculous until you understand why it worked. I made myself invisible. A few days later, Ryan flew back into town for a business trip. Lily mentioned casually that he hated ride shares and always took taxis from the airport. That was all I needed. I borrowed an old cab from a friend, threw on worn clothes, slouched. My posture lowered my voice and became exactly the kind of person men like Ryan don't notice at all. The airport was loud, chaotic, everyone rushing somewhere. Ryan spotted the cab, barely glanced at me, tossed his bag in the back, and started talking on his phone before I'd even pulled away from the curb. "Yeah, man, I told you it's locked in," he said, relaxed, smug. "Just gotta play it cool a little longer." I drove. I listened. He talked about deals, about people being desperate, about how easy it was to get ahead if you knew who to target. Not once did he lower his voice. Not once did he check if I was listening. To him, I wasn't a person. I was background noise. Then he mentioned Lily. "She's sweet," he said, laughing. "Too sweet. That's the whole point. She trusts people, makes things easier." My hands tightened on the wheel. I told myself to breathe, to stay in character. This wasn't about my pride. This was about hearing the truth all the way through. The next call was worse. He was talking to someone he clearly felt comfortable with, someone who knew the real plan. No love, no future, just timing. Just paperwork. Just waiting. "I'm not stupid," he said. "I know exactly what I'm doing. Once everything lines up, I'm set. She won't even see it coming." There it was. No ambiguity. No misunderstanding. The kind of honesty that only comes out when someone thinks they're untouchable. I kept driving. Took the long route. Bought myself time. He complained. Snapped at me. Treated me like I was slow, like I owed him speed simply because he wanted it. I'd been treated that way before more times than I could count. Funny thing is, when you've spent years being underestimated, patience becomes a weapon. When we reached downtown, I didn't stop at his hotel. "What are you doing?" he barked. "You missed the turn." I said calmly, "There's someone you need to meet first." That's when he noticed the building, the one with my name on it. The color drained from his face. The phone slipped from his hand. Security opened my door like they'd done 1,000 times before. I took off the cap, turned around, and looked him in the eye. For the first time, he really saw me. The silence was almost funny, almost. Inside, I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I played back his own words. Let him hear himself say them out loud, stripped of confidence, stripped of context. He tried to talk his way out of it. They always do. but lies don't survive recordings. I gave him a choice. Leave. Walk away. Never contact Lily again, or fight me publicly and lose everything he thought he was building. He chose to leave. Telling Lily was the hardest part. Watching her process betrayal is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. She cried. She questioned herself. She asked me why I didn't just tell her sooner. I told her the truth, because sometimes people need evidence, not warnings. Sometimes love means letting the truth speak for itself. She healed, slowly, painfully, and she didn't become bitter, which made me prouder than anything else. Months later, she met someone new. Not flashy, not smooth, just real. A man who listened when she spoke, who didn't rush, who didn't perform. I didn't need another test. Real character doesn't need pressure to show itself. Looking back, people ask me if I went too far. If pretending listening in silence, letting someone destroy themselves with their own words was ethical. I'll ask you this instead. If you had the chance to protect someone you love from being used, from being reduced to a transaction, from being quietly dismantled by someone who saw them as a shortcut, would you do it? Would you stay silent long enough to hear the truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was I right, or did I cross a line? And if you've ever been underestimated, overlooked, or misjudged, share your story. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is let people believe you don't matter.